me tell you something most people don't understand. Emotionally mature people don't argue loudly. They don't announce their exit. They don't fight for the last word. They simply walk away. And when they do, it confuses people. It hurts egos. It feels cold. People say they didn't care enough. They gave up too easily. They should have spoken up. But the truth is, walking away quietly is often the most emotionally intelligent decision a person can make. Not because they are weak, but because they are finally strong enough to choose peace over chaos. Today, we are going to talk about why emotionally mature people walk away quietly, what it actually means, and why it's one of the hardest and bravest things anyone can do. We live in a world that rewards noise. Whoever speaks the loudest, whoever argues the longest, whoever proves their point the hardest is often seen as the winner. But emotional maturity doesn't operate on volume, it operates on clarity. Emotionally mature people understand something early. Not every conversation deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. Not every battle is worth fighting. They know that explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you is exhausting. Defending your character to someone who already judged you is pointless. Repeating your pain to someone who refuses to listen is self betrayal. So instead of raising their voice, they lower their expectations. And when they realize that nothing will change, they leave quietly, not to punish, not to manipulate, but to protect their inner peace. Here's what most people don't see. By the time emotionally mature people walk away, they have already tried. They tried communicating calmly, they tried understanding both sides, they tried giving the benefit of the doubt, they tried being patient when it hurts, quietly. They didn't make a show of it. They didn't threaten to leave. They didn't weaponize silence. They hoped change will come naturally. But emotional maturity also means knowing when effort turns into self abandonment. So when they leave, it's not impulsive, it's not emotional, and it's not dramatic. It's the final step after many invisible attempts. Walking away quietly is not a sudden decision, it's a long conclusion. Emotionally immature people crave validation. They want to be seen as right, they want apologies, they want acknowledgement, they want reactions. Emotionally mature people have outgrown that hunger. They understand that closure doesn't always come from conversations. Validation doesn't always come from others. Being right doesn't always bring peace. They don't need to prove who was wrong. They know who they are. So when a situation becomes toxic, disrespectful, or draining, they don't stay to be understood. They choose to understand themselves instead. And sometimes, the most powerful statement you can make is saying nothing at all. Walking away is not a lack of love. This is where people get it wrong. They think walking away means you never cared, you didn't love enough, you gave up. But emotionally mature people know love without respect is self destruction. Love without safety is fear. Love without growth is stagnation. They don't stay in spaces where their boundaries are constantly crossed, their feelings are minimized, their silence is taken for weakness. They understand that loving someone doesn't mean tolerating everything. And sometimes the healthiest form of love is loving someone from a distance, quietly. Emotionally mature people listen beyond words. They notice patterns, they notice tone, they notice effort or the lack of it. They don't argue about promises, they watch behavior. So when someone keeps showing disrespect disguised as honesty, control disguised as concern, indifference disguised as busyness, they don't debate it, they accept the message. And instead of demanding more, they withdraw their energy. Because emotional maturity is realizing you don't need to convince someone to treat you well. For emotionally mature people, silence is not punishment. It's, it's a boundary, a line that says, I will no longer engage in what harms me. They don't announce it. They don't explain it repeatedly. They don't seek approval for it. They simply stop showing up where they are not valued. And this silence often speaks louder than arguments ever could. Because silence removes access, and access is power. Here is the uncomfortable truth why their exit hurts others. People are not hurt because emotionally mature people leave. They are hurt because there was no chaos, no begging, no emotional explosion, just absence. And absence forces reflection. It forces people to confront what they lost without distractions. That's why quiet exits are often remembered longer than louder fights. Self respect doesn't always look confident. Sometimes it looks calm. Sometimes it looks tired. Sometimes it looks like choosing yourself without explanation. Emotionally mature people don't stay where they have to shrink to belong. They don't stay where their peace is negotiable. They understand that staying too long teaches others that you will always tolerate less than you deserve. So they walk away quietly before resentment turns them into someone they don't recognize. If you have ever walked away without closure, without answers, without apology, you're not weak, you're not cold, you're not heartless, you are emotionally mature. You chose peace when chaos was familiar. You chose growth when staying was easier. You chose yourself without needing permission. And that takes strength most people don't talk about. Emotionally mature people don't live loudly. They don't burn bridges. They don't shout their pain. They live with understanding. They live with acceptance. They live with peace. Because when you truly value yourself, you don't need to make noise to be heard. You just walk away and let silence do the explaining. If you have managed to come to the end of this video, don't forget to subscribe and like for more grounded reflection.